appears yesterday's video isn't a one-off, and that I actually have quite a bit to say most days. Today I'm really pushing the boat out. I've come out of the comfort of my room and I'm actually, as you can see, on the balcony. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be background noise. There's no doubt going to be my cat coming up, my dog walking through, the door slamming, hopefully the children home from school playing, noises, energies. And I don't know about anybody else, but right now, wow, it's trippy. The energy out there almost makes me feel like I want to sit indoors. It's a real, well, it's the emotional energy that I mentioned yesterday, and I can really feel it on a deep level. It feels as if I'm being wobbled. It's no coincidence, the chair that I'm sat on is actually wobbling as well, so I could very well fall over halfway through the video. And it brings me back to something Metatron told me a while ago about when I was on my knees, basically begging to know why I couldn't cope with these changes, why everything had changed so much. He showed me the exercise vibration plates and how they shake us up and they help us to release everything that we no longer need, but how it's really important to be able to stand balanced in our own energy with that. Yesterday felt very much about water. Today it feels very much about grounding. Yesterday was very much to do with the feminine. Today it feels very much to do with the masculine, grounding our masculine, our actions, and being aware of our views of our actions, which I'll come on to in a bit if it comes up, if the need to come up arises. There's been much information come through today, and it's been very difficult to know what is to be passed on, what is to be taken on board, and what is to actually be healed. Again, it's going back to that real psychic noise, and without grounding that energy, without holding our own in the eye of the storm, the next week or so could be really quite difficult for people from an action point of view. So I will suggest some things for some grounding. I have bought some cards just in case. I have got Metatron, the Crimson Root Spray. When I say grounding, it doesn't feel as if it's on a earth star basis, just like the energy coming in doesn't really feel as if it's higher energies. It feels more important that our actual physical self is grounded. Whereas yesterday it was very important to actually physically feel. Today it feels very important to actually physically ground. My voice is different today. I am more nervous today because I'm very aware of the energies, and this is really pushing the boat out for me, just to be able to stand in something that I'm not always comfortable with. So I'll spray Metatron spray. Feel a real need to go back to basics. Something as simple as breathing. Yesterday it was very much the emotional prayer. Today it very much feels as if it's the breath of grounding. None of us, some of us, but most of us rarely conscientiously breathe. When we're born as babies, as a midwife, you see all babies will breathe with their belly. When we go through life, obviously the stresses, the noises, the interruptions of life, the fight or flight, if you like, and that's what I'm feeling. Fight or flight leaves us breathing very shallow. This affects us on a massive physical and spiritual level. It leaves us disconnected and ungrounded. But on a physical level, it stops us from that deep, heavy breathing that releases serotonin, that releases oxytocin, that drains our lymph system, that pumps our blood around faster. It starves our muscles of oxygen and basically tires the body as if it's been running. And that's what it feels like today on a psychic level, but also on a physical level. And again, it's going back to that vibration board. The earth has done an awful lot of work, and we can feel the changes that have occurred, and there's been an awful lot of information coming down, and we can feel those changes. It almost feels as if we've got very wrapped up in what's going on with the earth, very wrapped up with what's going on with the sky, and forgetting to keep the wire us in alignment. I'm being shown the image of a plug. We're plugged in, we're connected to the device, but the actual plug, the insulation around it, the actual plug is exposing bare wire. The earth wire, the grounding wire, and the neutral wire in particular. It's that balance. So, a couple of tips for grounding yourself. Crystals. Crystals are fantastic, and actually in my pocket, because this energy is so intense, I have a wonderful piece of driftwood. Can't rate it enough. Fantastic to ground yourself. However, today doesn't feel like enough. Amanda's spray, obviously the crimson red, is fantastic, and I have several grounding forks which I've used today, the root fork and the sacral plexus, no, the solar plexus fork in particular. My drum is wonderful for grounding. Something very simple that we actually forget in our physical form, something that was highlighted to me as a midwife as very, very important before birth and after birth. So before our changes and after our changes, the good old famous pelvic floor. Now most women out there at one point would have been moaned at, something chronic by their midwife about the pelvic floor, one would hope. But it's also very applicable to the males. The pelvic floor from a physical perspective holds all our lower organs in place. It supports our back, it gives us core strength, and that feels like that's really needed right now, core strength. Obviously from a spiritual perspective, it is our root chakra, so the stronger that is, the more connected we are, the more grounded we are. I did find as a midwife, and I do find now, that not enough people seem to do that exercise. I'm very surprised I'm talking about pelvic floor exercises in a Metatron video, but whatever skills we've got. And I also found as a midwife, not many people did them. So the importance of this exercise really feels like it's gone unnoticed, and it's famously called the light worker exercise for a very good reason. We're always working on our third eye, on our pineal gland, opening it up because it's the seat of the soul, but so is this chakra, and it's really important. So for those of you that know how to do the pelvic floor exercise, wonderful. For those of you that are unsure, a really easy, simple technique. Imagine that you're holding in every form of going to the toilet that you can. Bring it from the back, bring it forward, bring up those muscles, slowly if you can, like any muscular work. Doing it really quickly isn't going to actually gain anything. Bringing it up slowly and releasing it slowly. Incorporate your breath into this. Bring out your belly as you breathe out, as you breathe in, and bring up your pelvic floor. And just get this system really working. I have a funny feeling it's going to really be beneficial in the next few days at least. Why is this? Obviously I know that there is this big wave of energy coming in, and yesterday I naively thought it was going to be on an emotional level. We are affected by the moon, we are affected by everybody and by the collective. We are multi-dimensional beings. Today, without going into too much detail, because it even blew my mind, and taking my advice from the video yesterday, I've compressed that down a little bit. Basically, we are everywhere all in one go. We are in the past, we are in the future, we are in the now. We are on multi-levels, which is wonderful. It's, you know, it's how we manage to master our future, it's how we manage to heal our past, it's how we manage to live in the now. And it can be very, especially with the energy at the moment, very trippy. And it's almost taking that time to come back. Keep coming back. Come back to that center point. Come back to that point of creation and realise where you are. Now that can be really uncomfortable because we might not be where we want to be. I know I'm not sat in the field, I'm not sat underneath the tree, and it's not blissfully quiet, but this is life. I know that is where I would like to be, and I know in order to match that energy, I need to feel stable and quiet and secure and grounded inside. This is what I'm asking for. I need to match that energy. So it's coming back and reassessing, where am I? Where am I in this relationship? Where am I in this job? Where am I in decluttering my home? Where do I need to be? And what is actually physically possible at this point? Emotionally, we know what we want. Emotionally, we know what we want to do. But we are in a physical body. It almost feels like restrained within a physical body at points. But that grounding enables us to connect to all these multidimensional levels. So coming back to, again, the point of creation. There is a little bit that's been going on today. It's more than a little bit actually, and I feel I need the hope spray for this. They blocked the spray. That's better. It's actually very strong energy. It's not a little bit, there seems to be much going on today to do with the masculine. Now I don't necessarily mean the man, or even actions as such. It's more the doing actions within, the more, I'm trying to go with this, polarities. It's the difference. It's black, white, good, bad, they're better, this is better, that would be better, the polarities. And again, it's bringing those two together. I really feel like I'm trying to avoid the inevitable. Earlier on I was drawn to pull some cards. The only one that I did actually keep was From the Way of the Horse by Linda Kahavnoff. I think that's her name. Now these came to me the other day and I treated myself because they felt like really grounded energy, and I just started doing horse healing, so it felt important to have that energy around me. And the card that was pulled was a number 7, Moving Forward. I don't know if you can see that card, it's absolutely beautiful. I don't know these cards, so I will have to look into the book. Obviously, it's self-explanatory in that it is the lion heart, and it's moving forward with that courage, that bravery, and that lionness. However, protecting without sacrificing sensitivity, assertiveness without aggression, and the courage to feel and the willingness to act. Yesterday, very much about feeling, and it almost feels like some of us could be drowning in that. Feeling that we're not enough, feeling that things aren't quite going where we would expect them to go. We have a full moon Sunday in Virgo. Virgo is the perfectionist, and for me personally is actually my lunar sign, so a lot of shadow stuff coming up about comparison between our masculine and our feminine, within and without, comparison with what it is we're doing and what other people are doing, and trying to be something we're not. Today very much I got through. We are all separate music notes. We all make up a beautiful song that has been pre-orchestrated before we even came here. And yet everywhere I look, myself included, through comparison, through polarities, dual energies, we are continuously changing and trying to be something that we're not. And the beauty lies within being and grounding in what we are. You cannot be a saxophone if you're a guitar. You can try, you can hide amongst the saxophones and try and get away with it, but eventually you yourself will point out to you by attracting certain energies, this isn't who you are. And no smoke, no mirrors, no sugar coating is going to cover that. It's about accepting your path and accepting your role here. Anyway, back to the card. The horse with the heart of a lion moves steadfastly towards her goal. The gift. Human beings carry the wisdom of both predator and prey. True empowerment depends on finding a balance between the two. The challenge. Cultivating the strength of your inner lion without letting it run amok is very tricky. If you don't have enough lion, people will walk all over you, and you'll lack the conviction and focus to follow your dreams. If you have too much lion, you will lose the sensitivity that nurtures relationships and creativity. It's really difficult. In order to change, sometimes we have to almost cut our losses, and in order to do that, I don't know about anyone else, I tend to generally put this big veil over myself and move forward. I've got this. It's no coincidence today that I think we're at day 13, which is obviously the death card, and round it down to a 4 and it's the Emperor. Yes, things need to change. It's looking at what it is exactly you want, and looking at how you want to change that. The Emperor owns what he sits on. He owns that land and he owns that path. But in most Emperor cards, if you actually really zoom into it, there's no greenery, there's no beauty, there's no trials and tribulations. It's a clear cut, and sometimes that's needed, and sometimes that leaves a very barren land in order to seed the next lot of seeds. Very barren soil. So it's staying in the now, being grounded in who you are, owning who you are as if the Emperor would, cutting the need to be like everybody else, appreciating who they are by all means and what they might bring up for you. But ultimately they are mirrors of you. So appreciating those lessons, but still staying the musical note that you are, knowing that you are part of a bigger song, a beautiful song, knowing you are part of this noise. Very, very difficult, especially when the noises around you are louder or they're intimidating or it feels as if you have to compete. You cannot compete with anyone but yourself. The only person you have to compete with is yourself. You are the only version of you out here. There is no competition. Where else was I going? I also received a lot through today about the timeline. Now, obviously, I have no scientific proof of this. It is just what was guided to me a while back, and the timeline as we know it is very linear. However, a while back I was guided that it is actually the figure 8, hence time heals all wounds. It is the figure 8 for me personally. We are sat smack bam in the middle where they overloop. This is the now. This is the past and this is the future. In order to change the future, we need to change the now. In order to change the now, we need to change how we view the past. If you don't want something to keep reoccurring, if you don't want this job anymore and actually you really don't like it anymore and you want to move forward, it isn't going where you want it to go, look back at what it was that you loved about the job initially. Is there any way you can refine that? Any way you can compress that? Any way you can take it forward? Do you want to? If so, fantastic. If not, move forward. Don't compare any other job to that job that was then. There's been many times in my life where I have had the wind knocked out of me. And for a while, much as I feel, I've learnt this lesson, I've learnt that lesson, I'm still comparing it to the past, and in order to truly move forward, we have to heal all of that and then let it go. It's like a circle, and I see so many people, myself included, doing all the work, learning it all, but not remembering to let it go. Let it go. I don't need this anymore. That was then. This is not that relationship. If I'm going to start afresh, I will start afresh. Not based on that and that. If I'm going to start a new job, a new career, a new path, I'm going to start a new job, a new career, a new path. Not based on what it was I used to do. By all means, take parts of yourself that you have regained through the lessons of them. But don't take the lessons. They are to stay in the past with much gratitude for all that they've taught you and all that they've helped you to become, for helping you to remember your song. But that is where they belong. Otherwise, you bring them into the now. If your view hasn't changed on that, it is what you will take forward. And again, that figure 8 will just continue until you need it to do so. Is there anything else that I need to say? We've talked about grounding, we've talked about the moon, we've talked about the masculine and the feminine. I didn't really want to go too much into that because it felt like it was more on a physical level now. We've done a lot of work on the masculine and feminine collectively, and it's kind of finishing the loop. Finish the loop. What's the definition of madness? Doing the same thing over and over again. It reminds me of my dog when he chases his tail because he's bored stiff. Finish the loop. It's time. But in order to do that, you have to stand in the now and be grounded on where you are. Just wondering how much more time we have left. Okay, so I did run out of time. I should have realised when I wondered how much time I had left that I was about to run out of time. There's something coming through for the solar plexus here, so... it all feels like it's so serious sometimes. I know I said that in the video yesterday, but this pressure, this, again, going back to the being what we think we should be, believing what other people should be, it's one thing to see someone's potential, but then to stand back and hold the space for them to choose to reach that potential. That's our role, not to force them or push them, encourage them by all means. As a midwife, if I'd pushed every baby out for everybody, then, well, I wouldn't be sat here, I'd probably be exhausted. It's holding that space. One thing I was drawn on today about the masculine and the feminine from Sanderfon, I will mention it because it seems really apparent. I was given two songs, one from Madonna, Borderline, and one from Prince, 1999. Now, I can really feel an energy stood here behind me. Anyway, thank you. Both singers, I mean, Madonna is a beautifully masculine woman. Prince is, or was, bless his heart, a beautifully feminine man. The songs that they were singing about reaching breaking point and about being 1999, it was actually party, like it was 1999. I mustn't forget that part, so having the fun side of it, but it feels like this is going back to almost retrieve an energy from 1999, or look at the energy that you're still retrieving from 1999. I know personally for me, 1999 was when I started fresh in a job, and coincidentally I seem somehow to be doing that this time round. And 1999 was also the time when my father passed. We weren't very close, but it's not coincidence that today I'm healing the masculine. I've actually had many messages from him today regarding boats and being a sailor and abuse usage, and you know that song I'm Only Human, that kept coming up. There does feel like there needs to almost be a release now of all of that. Like I say, it doesn't feel so much on the collective, it feels more on a multi-dimensional level, but of course because we're multi-dimensional, that is collective, so I guess they're part and parcel. It's individual and collective, I guess. It's standing in the middle between those two polarities. It reminds me very much of the energy of the Lover's card, where you have the masculine and the feminine, the two lovers, and above that you have the archangel. Now that could be an archangel, it could also be the higher self, it could also be the gap between the two, holding that space. And when I think of that, I see, if I was to put it into a picture, a broken heart. Lots of choices. You know the ones you used to draw as a child with the line through it? It reminds me of a little bit like a wobbly tooth, where it's hanging on by a thread, that's what I feel like. And we can almost rip it off or seal it back together. Either way there'll be new growth. It's what we want to do with that. I'm not quite sure where that's coming from or where that's about to go. My right eye is really twitching. Lots of dogs barking. For me, when the dogs bark, it symbolises lots of mental activity. And it's almost upsetting the children, it's almost upsetting that inner child energy. I know this could go deeper, and this will be relevant to whoever it needs to be relevant, on whatever level it needs to be relevant. It's just time now. It's time to decide what we want and to listen to the emotions that help us decide that. I mean the real deep core emotions. And look back at where we've been, look back at what got us there, and use some of that that got us there to help us on the next stage. Use some of that with gratitude, with love, to help us create the next stage, but let go of the stuff that we don't. It's almost like expelling what we don't need anymore. If I was to put it into midwifery terms, it would be the afterbirth. You know, it's fed that, it's done wonderful, but actually it needs to go now in order to conceive again, because you can't conceive with a placenta now. How do we do that? How do we help all of that process? Love, oxytocin, that's how we help it happen. And to feel safe and nurtured and grounded. Okay. I did pick up a couple of packs of cards. I wasn't sure if they would come out, but I will draw them. Really itchy eye. All the cards are twisted all upside down. Some of them are forward facing, some of them are backwards. It's really difficult today. Not difficult, I can feel everything almost on a collective. I can almost feel like I could do a reading for everybody watching this. It might only be one person, but it feels really collective, and I'm trying not to tap into one energy, but all of them. So something in common somehow, or a way to move forward. I'm going to go because it's pink. I wasn't quite sure where I was going with that. These are Atlantean cards, only because of yesterday, from Diana Cooper. First one I have is technology. I'll show you the card. And it is a 40, which obviously rounds down to a 4. Technology, Diana's interpretation. I feel like I want to pull my feet up. Ground. It really feels like I want to pull my feet up and I don't feel grounded. And it's no coincidence that it's technology. I'm sat here in front of a camera. It's great, but it also makes me feel a little bit. Oh. The Atlanteans possessed computer technology behind our wildest dreams or imaginings. Crystal technology combined with sound, mind power was used for awesome high-speed transport, heating, lighting and building. A dome of crystal pyramids over Atlantis provided the grid that protected, powered and energized the great continent. This was totally safe and did not use fossil fuel. The spiritual hierarchy allowed us to develop technology at this time so that we would have more time for relaxation and spiritual contemplation. Planetary responsibility. Do not be over-reliant on technology, but use it to give yourself time for your personal growth. Alternatively, this card may suggest that there are more possibilities in your life than you have yet to develop. The real essence of this, for me, feels use your time wisely and explore new possibilities. You know, yesterday, when I did the film, I went to pick my son up and I was waiting for it all to download, and the technology really, I was like, oh, what do I do with this, what do I do with that, and I got really excited about it all. Today, because of all your wonderful comments yesterday, I thought, right, I really want to do this again, because so much comes in, I really want to do this again, and I actually probably tapped into everybody's energy, and I really wanted to do that, and I wanted to make it so special and use the technology and the gifts and everything else that it became almost too much. For me, yes, use your time wisely and explore new possibilities. The whole point of having technology, the whole point of being able to speak to people all this way and get this energy out, or the whole point of being multi-dimensional is so that when we're in our moment of now, we can actually relax. So we can jump ahead, we can plan that, but when we come back to this moment of now, when we come back to grounding, we can relax. Yesterday, after I finished the video, I went to get my son, something I really enjoy being able to do. I could never do that as my wife, and I went to get my son and he was late. And I had time in the car and listening to music, all things that I normally enjoy, those 5 minutes out. And all I kept thinking was, I've got to get back and get that video up. There's a message that needs to come out. Not trusting that divine timing. And it's, when you're in the now, you're in the now. Be grounded in the now. How often do we eat our dinner whilst thinking of our shopping? How often do we taste our food? How often do we soak in the bath and soak in the bath? How often do we look at our children? This is all noise, but how often do we actually appreciate that noise? You know, yesterday very much the emotions, today very much the touch, the feel, the sensations, the sounds. These are all beautiful things that we are so busy trying to get a message out there, which if, let's face it, we're all collective, we'd be able to feel anyway, that we forget to come back to the now. Rabbits need feeding. We are so busy thinking about the future that we want, that we forget what we've got now. And then when we actually get to that future, we are so busy trying to get to the next bit that we forget why we asked for that in the first place. We're not enjoying it, and we're not grounding that gratitude. Technology is a wonderful thing in moderation, like everything. You know, this enables us to reach a far wider audience so that our time off is our time off, and that feels really relevant. Our time of actually physically living needs to be physically lived. The next card that came with that was sound and music, and I'll just show you that. You can see that. It's a number 14, so a 5. Using that technology to connect to a higher power as well, absolutely, but don't forget the noise. You know, sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, it drives me nuts sometimes. The messages and noises that come in from the earth are just like cards, they're just like sprays, they're constant bombardment, but it helps me connect to my higher self. So by listening and by grounding, we get that too, we get that knowledge. So on the back, in golden Atlantis, the people loved harmonious music that kept their frequency high, provided inspiration and opened up creativity. They built sound chambers of perfect geometric proportions for healing and to balance the chakras. Appropriate music was played in the teaching temples so that children's minds would be receptive to absorbing and assimilating information. In these times there was no rock or heavy metal, as no one needed to express disharmony or discord. Instead they were attuned to the infinite. I kind of like rock and heavy metal, so I'm not getting into that one. This is the card of harmony. Your guidance is to make sure that everything in your life everything in your life is in balance and accord. Learn or teach in a relaxed way. It's also a reminder that beautiful music and chanting can change your mood and lift your spirits. Keep everything in harmony. And again, it feels like it's that work-play balance. Oh dear. Okay, I'm going to continue because again, it's about being aware of all the noise and standing in the middle of it. And the moment I can do that, I'll be more comfortable with it. So anyway, the last card, the High Priestess. Far, far prettier than the Emperor card as far as I'm concerned. That piece there, that difference between cutting things short, which I'm so tempted to do right now, and just letting it grow. Just seeing the hidden messages behind everything that you hear, everything that you experience. So it's number 7, and moving forward. The High Priestess of Atlantis were highly evolved women who were honoured and revered for their compassion, understanding and selfless service to people. They embodied feminine wisdom and channeled guidance from the Intergalactic Council for the development of Atlantis. In order to develop their powers and incredible psychic and spiritual skills, they undertook extraordinary initiations to test themselves and to maintain their 6th dimensional frequency. This kind of feels like one. Not that I'm a high priestess, but trying to maintain that frequency. I guess that's what it feels like. Everything feels like it's kind of a test in the next few weeks. You know, things are going to get louder. They're going to get more complicated. We're being given the opportunity to really seal that circle off and to make sure once and for all that it's done. And a bit like when after you give birth or after you pass your afterbirth, sorry for all the men out there, those after pains, that they really have to work harder in order to push the last dregs out, and that's what this all feels like. Intuition. This is the card of feminine power and wisdom. Do not rely on logic or rational thought at this time. And this feels really, really important. And yesterday was intuition from our emotions. Today it's and standing in our truth of our emotions. Today it feels very much about intuition in our grounding and our connection to who we are and the path that we walk, to our mother, to the earth. Yesterday it felt like a couple of people, I think Amanda Ellis, you mentioned the waters of the womb. Today it very much feels like the mother earth. So there does feel like that kind of emphasis around there. I'm not sure where they want to go. That's for tomorrow. Oh, that's interesting. Respond to challenges from your deepest knowing, for the answers lie within. You are reminded to work with total integrity and compassion. We can see what people are doing wrong, and we can see how people keep repeating the same circle, and we can see how they can move forward, and we can have so much belief and love for someone. You know, my son, he's a Pisces, and if he would just give a bit more. But in the now, he gives all that he is willing to give, and for him that's right. For me to then say, I need more, I want more, well, that's me. I need to fill that gap, not my son. You know, and it's holding that space again. It's being compassionate to everyone's growth, and everybody's growth takes time, because everybody grows in different ways, because everybody is different, you know. You are reminded to work with total integrity and compassion, access your wisdom and listen to your intuition. The answers are within. They're always within. This is a script that we have pre-written. We know how this pans out. You know, so many people, and it makes me feel quite tearful, because I try not to see it as a waste, because that's almost egotistical, but so many people know that they're going to die. It's a sure fact. You know, without bringing the energy down, it's the next stage, it's transformation. It's part of the cycle. Many things end. And yet we spend so long wishing it was something else that we don't appreciate. And there are so many times when people will say to me, if only I knew, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that. Well, actually, you are the masters of your own path. Everything happens for a reason, even the regret that you might feel to help you move forward with the next lot. Everything happens for a reason, so it's owning that path, giving it your all. And if you're in the moment, if you feel your emotions, if you're connected to who you are and your path, and you listen to everything that's going on, you give it your all. You taste that food. You watch your child without thinking of the shopping list or the film that you're desperately trying to do. Everything is in moderation. Today when I was writing down a few things which I didn't really get to use, I should have known that, because I was trying to seek answers outside of myself when I should have just let it flow. But, part and parcel, there are no shoulds. The last thing that I actually wrote was to make love to life. Now, I know that sounds really hedonistic, and I swear I should have been born in the 60s. When you are sharing that moment with somebody, some people might, I'd like to think most people don't, but when you are sharing that moment with somebody, do you think about your shopping? Do you, when you're giving birth or you're holding your child, are you thinking about something else? We are multidimensional, and it is part of our skill, but when we come back to the now, this technology we've been given to be able to be in 1,000,001 places is to help us enjoy each stage of that, to allocate time. That's what I feel. Allocate time, allocate priorities, and be very aware of each element in each moment. I'm eating, am I enjoying my food, or am I thinking of this? Am I feeling this? Be very aware of where our energy is going. You know, we can want something, but our energy can be so scattered all over the place that actually it takes much longer to get there. Still in the past or whatever. Okay, the other cards I did get out, especially for you, Amanda Ellis, the secret language of colour cards. Now, I won't read the book or anything, they're more like an oracle card, and they're just lovely colours. I don't know if you've got them. Oh, and they are by Ina Segal. Seagull. Okay, those cards were especially for you, and everything cut out. So I'm not going to reshuffle them. I will bring up the ones that actually came out. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful magenta. Connect to your deeper inner knowing. Now, without being crude, that looks very feminine to me, that flower. Again, going back to the root chakra, going back to almost like a kundalini energy there, and having time for that, having time to actually respect that energy. We do get caught up and we do get very busy, and it's just going back to that feeling safe and that held energy. The one that did baffle me actually, protect yourself, and it's azure and it's a blue colour. Now when I see this card, I see the light coming in, but the clouds needing to move out the way for it to shine brightly. The colour actually reminds me of your bluebrow teeth in bridge spray, Amanda. So obviously letting go of stuff that we no longer need. Sometimes they can really become our safety blanket. Today I was thinking, I can't do this, I can't do this. It's all too much, the energy's too much. And for a minute I just thought, I'm so tired of that story. I'm so tired of hiding behind that story. You know, the energy still builds up, the information still comes in, and I'm still there rocking backwards and forwards saying it's all too much. What are you tired of? Stop now. And then followed by that we had pink, and I don't know what time of year the tulips come out, but beautiful tulips. Let love in. Obviously once the clouds move, the light comes through. Once we almost regurgitate, I mean obviously our chakras are kind of laxatives for the soul. Once we release all of that, we can let more stuff come in. There's more space for more stuff to come in. It goes back to yesterday's message really. Only today it feels very much about being good enough, about people in our life being good enough, about not separating the polarities. Susan, good friend of mine, Susan Alexander, she has her own webpage. I think it's Angelic Vibrations. If anybody wants to know, let me know. If anyone else sees this. Lives in Australia, and I know that distance can be really hard, but I'm there with you. I promise you I'm there with you, and I really feel like we could all get together at one moment and just join up, heart to heart. Distance is a barrier. Male and female is a barrier. What you should be doing, what you are doing, these are barriers, and they're not beneficial anymore. Before we used to have to know that time was running out to make the most of life, and it's all mental attitude. We used to have the male so we could appreciate the female, or the bad things so we could appreciate the good things. We've realised they're all part and parcel, so now we don't need that anymore. We are multidimensional. So when I say I feel you, Susan, I feel you. We are multidimensional. We are never alone. That's going to get really deep, that message, so maybe another time. All in divine timing. Maybe it's already happened. And then lastly, brilliance. Discover your sparkle. Now I could so jump into that waterfall right now. It just looks beautiful and clean and fresh. It does feel like it might be tears as well for some people, and my son once said to me, whenever you cry, Mum, it's become too much for your soul. And do you know what? I find it a lot easier to cry now. I find that beautiful. Sometimes it needs to leak, and that's okay. No judgment, not because I'm sad or happy. We're in a world where we walk around and it's okay to be happy. There's no reason needed for it. If we're sad, we need a reason, because this isn't normal behaviour. Emotions are emotions. They are energy in motion, and they need to move around freely. And it's just standing in that. I don't want to go back to the water conversation, because we have done that. You know, like I say, I could go through all of these cards right now and read for the next month, but let's be in the now. Right now, let's stand in who we are, let go of what we no longer need, and just connect. Now what I'm going to do, a little trick, when things become too much for me, I have to find one thing to focus on. You know, we do some wonderful meditations along our path, and we go some wonderful places, and sometimes the brain loves it. It gets us to see this and do that, and we get really in depth. We can taste things, see things, and it gets quite intense. The other day I tried to focus and meditate on a candle flame, and I couldn't do it. My brain was too active, and it's about knowing what we're focusing on. So what I'm going to do is move the camera closer just so you can see the water, only for 5 minutes. Possibly play my drum. I need to spray the red spray for that because it's a very grounding spray and it has come out for a reason. Actually, we shall see. Decide what it is you're going to focus on. You can listen to the dogs barking, you can see and listen to the birds singing, 2 beautiful magpies in the tree over there. Watch the ocean, listen to the drum, turn off. It's entirely up to you, but be aware what you focus on. And I think there might be a video tomorrow, but that's based on the now. Come tomorrow, everything could have changed, and that's the beauty of it. Okay.